So everyone is talking about Cursor, Claude Code, Codex, all of these AI coding tools. And it genuinely feels like if you're not using one of them, you are behind, like you are doing something wrong. And the truth is, I don't use any of them, and I want to talk about why. So let's dive right into the video. So here's the thing, I tried using Cursor for some time, and here's what I noticed. Whenever I make a change to my file, either a small change or a huge change, I always get back this div file showing me what changed in red and green. So it's kind of similar to you reviewing a pull request in GitHub. And to be honest, in modern times like this, I don't think anyone is manually reviewing a pull request on, let's just say, an open source project. Everybody now uses tools like CodeRabbit and greptar to do that because I really don't believe that people are manually reviewing GitHub pull requests. But so back to Cursor now. I noticed similar thing, and I don't know if it's my brain or a skill issue, but whenever I see those huge file with divs and everything, it's kind of overwhelming at some point for me. And there's also the money side to this. I was having a conversation with a friend some days ago, and we are just chatting, and we are just noticing that coding is no longer cheap like it was a year ago or 2 years ago. And I think we just don't talk about it enough. And the honest truth is that to get good features out of these tools, you are not just longer going to be in a pro plan anymore. You need like a max tier, a top subscription, or whatever they are calling it. And the cost of coding with AI keeps going up, especially if you don't even know what you are doing. And we are all just moving on like it's fine. All right, so here's what I actually do. I use Claude's chat interface, and yes, I'm on the free plan, and I also use T3 chat. So in T3 chat, I'm using the pro plan, which lets me switch between models. So if I click on this, you'll see that I have access to, this is my favorite tab, but I literally have access to all the models right here. So this is literally my whole setup using Claude chat interface and T3 chat, especially T3 chat because this is where I spend a lot of my time, down to image generation and everything, because I read what comes back and I manually copy the code and paste it into VS Code myself. And I think some people will hear this now and start thinking I'm making things harder than they need to be. But honestly, this workflow keeps me inside my code base, and I have to know enough about what I'm building in order to paste the right thing into the chat. And that's not a weakness in my workflow, it's actually the point. It keeps me knowing what's going on. And the truth is, when an AI agent is managing all the context for you, there's a real chance you slowly stop understanding your own code. Now, I'm not saying everybody should work this way, and literally the title of this video is going to be how I code with AI. And I'm probably going to try Claude Code or Codex at some point. It's something that is inevitable. I'm surely going to try it. And if it changes how I work, I will make a video about that. But right now, I'm good with what I have, and I'm actually shipping projects faster too as well. So if you're using any of these AI tools and it works for you, more power to you. Just keep on keeping on and keep on using it. So what I want to do right now is I want to show you like a bug I'm having on an application that I'm working on. By the way, this looks fine, and of course you already know that the workflow was from Claude and TetraChat. So let's go back. So if I try to register for an event now, let me just enter some details, and I change this email to this one, 3. So this person, this email is already registered. So if I click on register now, I should get like a toast notification saying you have already registered for this event. But for some reason on the production version, this is the production version, if I try an email that has already been registered and I click on register, I just get like blank stuff. So user doesn't get a toast notification, and I want to just show you how I would fix that. So if I go to my logs, I'm using Convex, by the way, you see that I'm seeing the logs right here. So it's coming from this RSVPs file. So it says already registered for this event, but I'm not getting the toast notification. So here's what I would do. copy this. So I'll copy the error right here. So I'll go to Claude. I'll say, please help me fix this error right here. So on production, or rather on dev, I get a toast notification, but on production I don't see the toast notification, which therefore leads to a bad UX. So I am going to give you the file with the issue so you can help me figure where the issue is coming from and hopefully fix it as well. So I'm going to paste the file. So I know the file is coming from it's called arrow svps. Yeah, so this file is quite lengthy. I'm just going to copy the whole thing. I would have just copied you know what, let me just copy what is needed. I'll copy this right here, this mutation right here, and I will paste this. Then I'll go to my free reg model and I'll paste this as well. So hopefully let's see what it comes up with. And before I paste the code, I can just say something like just give me the code that I need. You don't have to repeat everything. So this just saves you a token, kind of, even though you're in the free plan, so it doesn't spit out the entire code again. So let's see what is going to come up with. All right, so this is what it gave me. The issue is coming from my free reg model. So I think it's, yeah, so this line of code, so it's letting me know that in production, Codex wraps mutation errors differently. So the error message may not match the instance of error right here. So what we do, so I think this is the error. So from this catch block, I'll just copy the whole thing like so, and I will just hit enter. Or you know what, just for now I will comment this guy out, so, and paste in the changes and save. So it's not saving. Let me get rid of this last one and save now. Okay, so it's saving. And again, it gave me a suggestion that also what noting I have like two strings for the same UX scenario. So let's just try the first one now. So I'll go to my local instance and try it again. So let me try the email. So the email was users music 3. So let me just add something here, and if I click register, so you can see that you've already registered for this event. So the local version is still fine. So what I need to do is I will have to push my code to a staging branch to check if it's working in staging as well, because I have a staging branch before I push to production. And also I think after this video I might also like fix this right here on my backend. So I'm really just making this video to put it out there because I genuinely feel like I might be the only one doing this. So let me know in the comments how you're actually using AI to code. Not how you think you should be using it, but how you actually do it day to day. And if you want to see what this workflow actually produces, I have a store where I sell website templates. So either hotel templates, gym, this one is free, spa, and wellness template. All these templates you see were built with this exact process. So using Tate Richard and using Claude chat interface. So I don't just use it for to get like code fixes. I use it for brainstorming ideas, like literally almost everything. I also use chat GPT as well, but that's basically on the research side of things. So in terms of emails, literally stuff that don't relate with coding, that's what I use chat GPT for. All right guys, so that's the size of the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, do well to comment, like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and I will see you in the next video.